Welcome to Elevate Springfield, where we will dive into strategies and stories that help you rise to your full potential. Each episode, we'll talk about how you can take intentional steps to elevate your life and your business while making a meaningful impact on those around you. Along the way, we're going to bring in the change makers from our community that are already elevating. We'll bring the actionable strategies, you bring the discipline and follow through, and together we can elevate Springfield.
All right, let's go, Springfield. Time to 10x your life, your business, all of it. Time to crush those goals. Time to get after it. Let's go. You are listening to the Elevate Springfield podcast. Robert Farrell here, certified 10X coach, speaker, and mentor, here to bring you actionable strategies. You bring the discipline and follow through, and together we're going to elevate Springfield. We're coming to you again from beautiful downtown Springfield in the Big Dog Construction Studio. Hey, we've got so much going on in Springfield right now. Make sure you are participating. Get out there, network with folks, be a part of the community, support local businesses, support local nonprofits, and let's go. We can all grow together. So, hey, another great episode for you today. We're going to get right to our guest after the break. Hey, Springfield, when it comes to reliable, high-quality roofing, you don't want to leave things to chance. That's why you should reach out to Acosta Angeli Roofing, your local roofing expert, serving Springfield and surrounding communities. From quick, dependable repairs to full replacement, from residential to commercial, they are your trusted pros. Call them today at 217-993-2748 or visit their website to book your free quote and inspection. Don't wait. A little leak now could lead to major damage later. Trust the local experts, protect your home, and get peace of mind with Acosta Angeli Roofing. And we are back. Joining me in the studio now, Andrew Dillon from First Response Travel. Andrew, how you doing today, man?
Good. How are you?
Good. Appreciate you coming down on a rainy, wet, kind of nasty Springfield morning, but
a little chilly.
Right, compared to yesterday, pretty big change. That's the way it is around here. So we're going to talk about your business and everything, but before we do that, let's just learn a little bit about Andrew, man. Tell me a little about your background.
Well, background's a little crazy, a little dark, but you know, it is what it is. Grew up here in Springfield, Illinois. Went to Catholic high school. Grew up, raised Catholic, and just kind of had a little bit of a troubled upbringing.
Mm-hmm.
Don't want to get too far into that, but
Sure.
It's just kind of one of those things where I had challenges from early life and a little bit of mental and physical challenges growing up in my household, and then was introduced to alcohol around the age of 8. Just kind of struggled with alcoholic addiction for most of my life. Grew up through high school. Never really felt like I fit in anywhere. Like I said, I grew up in a Catholic household, went to a Catholic grade school, went to a Catholic high school, and ended up having some issues with my alcoholism in high school, and they told me to get out, and ended up having to go to a rural community public school. And my mom, as sweet as she was when she was living, decided she was going to go to the mall and buy me a bunch of clothes to start fitting in at the public school. And she went to this store called FUBU and bought me all this stuff. And now I'm going to high school in a rural community, which is back in the 90s, early to late 90s. It was a different environment. Sure. Growing up in a rural community in Illinois, and now I'm wearing all this stuff that's basically inner city clothing that doesn't fit my posture, but I didn't know anything about it. So I start showing up at the school. People start calling me FUBU based on the clothes that I'm wearing, and that's just kind of the nickname and the persona that I developed there, and definitely didn't fit in at that point. So it just kind of became more of a challenging, and just again didn't feel like I fit in, and just started drifting farther and farther away. Kind of started self-isolating and trying to cope with my own inabilities and insecurities in life, and then decided one day to get in a fight at high school. Ended up having some issues with the local law enforcement.
Sure.
And kind of they warned us, hey, if you do this, you're going to go to jail and you're going to get arrested and you're going to blah 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 blah. And so we were kids. We didn't care. We went ahead and we still they sold tickets at the high school and everything for this show at the park.
Oh,
And
wow. Okay.
it was crazy.
That's crazy.
Like before, cage fighting and everything was thing. It was like people were selling these tickets for $5-10 a piece. And
Right.
of course the teachers caught on to it, and the cops met us up there and were like, "Hey, if you do this, it's not going to end well for either one of you." We didn't care. We didn't listen. The cops ended up leaving, and we ended up, we didn't even really get into a fight. It was just more of a shoving match and, a word
Sure.
exchange than anything. But they came back and we both got put in handcuffs, and we both went down to the local PD, and, our parents got called, and then we had a court date that we had to go in. And long story short, all the charges were dropped, and it was kind of my first introduction to law enforcement. And then the officer that actually arrested me kind of took me under his wing and was like a mentor for me.
Yeah.
And that produced my vision to law enforcement's not actually that bad. So then I started utilizing stuff that he taught me and started focusing a little bit more in school, started, redirecting my life towards, a better purpose, a better way of trying to figure things out, and actually became involved in law enforcement. And I did several years as a private security officer, and then went into federal law enforcement, and then also started around the age of 18, 19 as a volunteer firefighter, which turned into a career firefighter.
Awesome. Was that all around here?
It was in Sangamon County. I volunteered for the Sangamon County Rescue Squad.
Uh-huh.
And then when I met my wife, we moved to Highland, Illinois, and I was a volunteer, part-time EMT with the city of Highland, Illinois. And then the federal law enforcement side was with the United States Department of Homeland Security. I was a private contractor with them, and also Federal Reserve Law Enforcement in St. Louis.
Awesome. So would that officer be maybe one of your first mentors, I guess?
He would have been. He was one that really redirected me, was a little bit more of a father figure, and really changed the course of my life.
How important is that?
At that point? I mean, it was huge. Looking back, I wish I would have taken more value in it and listened a little bit more, and not got into my own way, and then you started drifting again later in life. But, having a personal mentor early in life is huge.
No doubt about it. So how long did you do all that? Were you in the law enforcement side, and then firefighting and the whole thing?
So together, I had kind of like that bipolar, career issue, split personality, if you will. I was a cop and a fireman at the same time. I was like, I don't know if I want to eat donuts or if I just want to nap all day. In 18 and a half years, I was a volunteer firefighter and doing something with law enforcement, whether it was the private security or law enforcement, for 18 and a half years.
18 and a half years. And was that, said, mostly around here, or some in Highland? Where was the bulk of it?
The bulk of it was with the Sangamon County Rescue Squad. And then I did 10 years in Highland, Illinois, and then 2 years in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina.
Okay.
With Horry County Fire Rescue.
What does the rescue squad do in Sangamon County Rescue Squad?
Sangamon County Rescue Squad, I don't know what their purpose is right now, because it's kind of shifted. And the rescue squad, but they were pretty much one of the first fire departments, technical rescue agencies in Sangamon County and Illinois. Their purpose back in the day was to get the extrication equipment and teach other fire departments and rescue squads on how to, properly cut up a vehicle, extricate a patient, and, get them to the higher level of care that they needed. And that was their purpose back in the day. It's kind of shifted. When I was with them, it was shifting into canine search and rescue and a lot of other technical rescue applications. And then before I left them and moved south, they were kind of getting phased out by other departments because of funding and training. And these other departments were relying more on education through Illinois Fire Service Institute. So, and then laws, the way the Illinois mandated things, because the rescue squad was never a fire protection district. So they didn't have a lot of the protections and insurance liabilities to be teaching or assisting with fire department applications in the state. And so they kind of got phased out a little bit, but they are still valid. They still respond and help other smaller departments with extrications, mutual aid, Mavis Air Supply. They have the Rescue One has an air cascade system, which they respond to calls when other fire departments are on an active fire, and they refill their SCBAs, which is their breathing apparatus, so that they can go in and they maintain those bottles so the firefighters fresh can go in and out and continue the mission.
Right. I think a lot of people don't realize how important that piece is, to have those those tanks refilled and everything, because those things do go.
Yeah. I mean, you got Depending on the breathing rate of the person that's wearing it, you got 30 to 45 minutes to an hour on a bottle. I mean, it just depends on how much they're physically exerting themselves, their physical condition, and how fast they're breathing.
So when you're talking about extrication, or so when you guys were called to a scene, was it mostly accidents and different
Rescue
things like
squad
that?
pretty much responded to vehicle accidents,
Mhm.
and any other kind of like structural collapses, drownings. They had the dive team, K9 search and rescue. So anything that needed technical rescue capabilities, the rescue squad would respond to.
What are you most proud of for your law enforcement / firefighting career?
Helping people. So it's just there's a lot. The happy moments kind of fade.
Mm-hmm.
There are some that stay in your brain, and you just delivering a baby, stuff like that, making sure that you did extricate someone or give somebody a better quality of life. That when 911 gets called, it's never a good day. You're responding to somebody's worst day of their life,
Mhm.
and whether it's on the law enforcement side or the fire department side, we are thrown into chaos, and we have to be the one that kind of has to try to figure out how to fix it immediately, with either relying on our training or thinking on our feet to fix it right then and right there. And the haunting ones are the ones that stick with you more than the happy
Yeah, that's what I was
ones.
going to ask. I mean, because both sides of that, you have the really, really high of, like you said, helping deliver a baby or something, to the
Right.
really, really lows, and that has to be very difficult.
Yeah,
So-
it was a challenge, and that is kind of when I started to backslide again into alcoholism, and kind of I didn't see God's work back then in a lot of what I did. I became kind of immersed back into myself and just blind to God's work, and I drifted farther and farther away from God and spirituality and all of that stuff, and drifted more away from the firefighting side, trying to focus more on the law enforcement side, and then just got personally jaded with society. I got personally jaded with people and just human beings in general. I had a lot of loss with partners and other law enforcement friends, whether they were killed in the line of duty or if they took their own life because of the stresses of the job, you name it. There was a time where, I mean, I lost 6 friends in 2 years,
6 in 2 years.
and it was just time for me to get out of it because my mental health was just spiraling out of control
Mhm.
fast. And then that's when I moved to South Carolina and became a firefighter with Horry County Fire Rescue full time, and then loved that. But then my alcoholism was still taking hold, and an off duty incident didn't allow me. Well, I mean, now I kind of see it as a blessing. I like to use the term allow,
Sure.
but back then I didn't see it as a blessing. The off duty incident forced me to resign from Horry County Fire Rescue, and I spun out of control. If we backtrack a little bit, I had a few suicide attempts leading up to that. And then after I lost that job, which by the way was the best job in the world, I recommend, if anybody ever wants to do anything in public service, recommend firefighting. I mean,
Yeah.
It is possibly the best job in the world. But I lost it and was just down on myself. And that led me to a 5th suicide attempt. And this time I was going to do it right. Like, I was going to make sure nothing got in the way this time. No matter what had happened in the past, something had always stopped it. Whether it was sitting at my house and trying to pull the trigger and somebody kicking in the door at the last second and the bullet going through the ceiling because they wanted a cup of sugar, that stopped that one. I crashed a 90s Dodge square body pickup truck into a bridge embankment at 95 miles an hour. Walked away from it with a forearm scratch
Mhm.
and survived. No seatbelt.
You said came over for a cup of sugar, and that's what
Yeah.
stopped one of them.
Yep.
Wow.
As I was pulling the trigger.
Wow.
And again, like, I saw that as a failure.
Mm.
I was that messed up that I couldn't even do that right. And that just kind of compiled like everything that I was feeling at the time. So, came to that 5th suicide attempt, called my mom, who had passed away like 3 years earlier, and left a 15-minute voicemail on her phone and was gonna just check out. And that's the first time I think I genuinely hit my knees and desperately prayed to God. And I wasn't asking for anything else other than the forgiveness of the eternal sin, or a eternal sin of committing suicide and ending my own life. And I prayed and I prayed and I prayed for safe passage to heaven. And to drown out the sound of the gunshot, I decided to turn on the TV. And there was an ad for a local recovery center in South Carolina. And I called that number instead. And before I called that number, I physically felt someone grab my shoulder and a man's voice whisper into my ear that it's going to be okay. I've got you.
Wow.
And as soon as that person that I did not know at 3 o'clock in the morning answered the phone, that's the exact same thing that she responded back to me. It's going to be okay. I've got you. And there was dead silence. And I don't know how many people you call at 3:00 in the morning.
Right.
And there's dead silence if you stay on the line or if you just hang up. But I mean, it felt like it was 5 minutes. I'm sure it was only a few seconds, but it felt like forever before anybody spoke. But that was the first thing she said to me. And I was like, okay, maybe there's something to this. And she talked to me the entire way that I drove to Orangeburg, South Carolina from Myrtle Beach. Was like a 2.5-hour drive.
Stayed on the phone with you the whole time.
Yep. I checked into recovery, did my 30 days there, decided I was going to redevote my life to my wife and, trying to figure out exactly what happened there. And none of it made sense to me at the time. But long story short, I went through recovery, started doing the thing, was introduced to Alcoholics Anonymous and started following that program. Got out of recovery and I was 60 days sober and I was flying back home to close on our house in Illinois, moved the wife and the kids over to South Carolina and was served with divorce papers, 60 days sober. And I'm like, okay, what do I do now? I called my sponsor, went to a meeting, and I didn't go out and drink. I stayed sober through all that and then really started taking an evaluation of my personal inventory in my life and started looking back at a lot of the things that have happened. And that's when I started rediscovering God, Jesus Christ, and, all that stuff. And really was able to see that a lot of the negativity in my life was God trying to redirect me to his will and to his path. Every single thing that I took as a negative in my life was a positive. It's just a way that I was looking at it at the time, and my mental capacity, my spirituality, my spiritual wellness was just empty. Like I was so bankrupt in that. If you would have told me God was real back then, I don't know what I would have told you, but it probably wouldn't have been pretty.
Sure.
It was an eye opener. And then working with it and 4 years sober now, just started this spiritual journey. And I was invited to Westside Christian Church by a friend. That was the first time I actually felt accepted by anything and anyone, and just bawled my eyes out for that first church service. And just, I've met so many nice people at Westside and just the church community through AA and just doing everything. And it's phenomenal. Yeah. Like if anybody's out there thinking God's not real, just open your eyes and start looking around. He's there. Even in the bad times and the hard days, he's there, and he's got you. You just got to follow his steps. And Westside Christian Church has just been amazing. Everything that I've learned there, everything that I've done, started daily devotionals, started going to Rooted, did the 10 weeks there, got baptized at the end of it at the spur of the moment spontaneously. And I don't know why I was fortunate enough to find what I found, but my prayers at night on my knees for safe passage to heaven were answered. Not the way I wanted it, not as soon as I wanted it, but in his time and in his way. I mean, he's shown me the path that I need to follow, and it's my responsibility to accept it, to listen to it and follow it and pray for it every day, that I'm following his will and not mine. And with that, everything has just been phenomenal. Everything's improving financially. I mean, I started my business under the foundation of sobriety, and even named it First Response Travel because of my past and the career that I used to do. And one of my taglines is escape the chaos. Right. So, everybody, even whether you're first responder or not, everybody has daily chaos. So why not, escape the chaos and go make memories and dreams. And that's what I try to do as I try to sell dreams now.
Love it. No, I mean, that's where we met. We met through Westside, through Rooted. Jeff Dillman was in yesterday, and we were talking a little bit about the Rooted group. Cool experience, a cool 10-week experience.
Absolutely phenomenal.
We went into, Jeff and I, we knew each other, but we didn't know anybody else before that. And it was really cool to be able to grow closer together through that whole thing with a group of guys that you had no idea about before. It was just a cool experience. So, and yes, and like you said, at the end, Jeff was talking about his baptism, and he planned his up ahead and did it and everything. And then you kind of spur of the moment that night felt the call to do it, right? Or the day before, maybe?
No, not even the day before. I had the conversations with my family and my friends, and I was like, hey, I would like some of you guys here to see this and, to like kind of solidify my spiritual journey and know that I have changed, that the person you knew before is not who I am today. like it's a complete 180 of who I used to be and who I am today. And I wanted my family and friends that saw the struggle, that saw what I went through to be there for it.
That's powerful, man.
And then I'm like, we showed up that night for the dinner and the graduation or the celebration of the Rooted program. And they're like, hey, we're doing baptisms tonight. And I'm like, it just spoke to me. Like, why wait? I mean, we were in Rooted. There was 10 guys in our group, and I think there was like 153 other people that were there, and through the other 9 groups. And why not be baptized that night to culminate everything that we just went through in the 10 weeks, the foundation that we built? Why not do it that night with my brothers in faith that I just met? And I wouldn't have changed it for the world. It was magical. And even Derek, when he was up there kind of doing the commencement, was like, the Bible says you win it once. As soon as you felt the calling and you embraced this new life and were bathed in the bloods of Jesus Christ and started anew. So
no doubt about it. So powerful. Now that night, I think you might have had the picture of the night too, because they posted on the West Side Facebook page after you were baptized, you pumped both fists up in the air. I mean, you're a taller guy as it is, but yeah, you look like 7 feet tall in there, man. Just pumping those fists. That was awesome.
And everybody was asking me how I look so tall. And I don't know if I still don't remember if I jumped up when I came out, but I mean, it did. It
did
looked like I was towering
I don't
over
think
everybody.
you did, because I was there taking some pictures and I don't think you jumped up, but man, you look like super, super tall. But anyway, I think you might have had the picture of the night. Fun experience both that night and for the 10 weeks. We had the serve experience out at Refuge Ranch, which is really cool. So look forward to doing some more stuff with them down the road as well.
Absolutely. Me too. I wasn't able to go this last Saturday for the mentoring thing, but I will, because I was out of town. But I'm going to do that. That's a really cool program and a little basis for that, for, troubled youth. And I mean, if that existed back in the day when I was going through my troubles, life may have turned out a little differently. I may have found my spiritual journey way before I did, but I didn't know anything like that even existed. So it's really cool that they have what they have and that they're expanding.
No doubt about it. Well, let's dig into the business a little bit. First response travel. So what was the impetus to starting that? Start any business you want after you were away from the law enforcement and firefighting. You decided on travel. Let's dig in a little bit.
I could have done anything, but everybody in sobriety the first year, they're like, don't make any huge decisions. Don't do anything crazy. So I just did what I wanted to do. I didn't do what I wanted to do. I kind of did what everybody else was telling me to do, like start small, start doing anything. So I got a job at a local plant nursery in South Carolina and ended up being the yard manager and kind of, working through that. And that was my first job in recovery. And I just did some other little odd end jobs here and there. I became a plumber for a couple of years and did things like that, and just was really just struggling to find my way, what I wanted to do. And I ended up let go from being a plumber because I started traveling. I started exploring the world. And, I was living in South Carolina. My kids were back here. My wife was back here. And I couldn't hold a steady job flying back and forth and being with my kids for parenting time that I didn't want to let go. Now that I'm a single dad living 4 states away, 13, 15 hours away, I'd have to fly back. And then I started traveling a little bit more now that I didn't have those, and just experiencing the world. And then that's when I started noticing that everything I thought about humanity, everything I thought about people was completely biased. That there is still good people out there. There are still good things going on. And one of my mentors back in the day at the law enforcement, and it's not the same one that I had before, but it was one of my friends that passed away. He said, there's no bad people in the world. I mean, don't get me wrong. There is pure evil in the world that has to be counterdicted by, the only person that can do that, and that's God. But he said, for the most part, there's no bad people in the world. There's just there's good people put in bad situations, and that makes them do bad things or things that they have to do to survive. And that's something that I tried to develop throughout my law enforcement career and try to give people those second chances. But traveling and seeing that this world is okay. I mean, there's good things. You just have to embrace it and learn it. And that's kind of what started spinning me towards travel and wanting to do more world travel. And then I actually was introduced to this online webinar on how to become a travel agent and unlock the travel industry. And I watched it for an hour and started talking to the person who introduced it to me. and she became my mentor and taught me the business, the trades, and I founded my own business through that. And I called it first response travel to tie it back into my past and my history, and to not necessarily cater it to first responders, but embody the personal struggles that I went through.
Mm-hmm. I like the escape the chaos tagline. That is cool because, yeah, everybody's busy doing things. It's nice to escape into somewhere else. I'm kind of I don't know, I get that wanderlust feeling, and I just got I love travel, so I like being out a lot. So there's times I just got to get out of town for a little bit. I just got to go travel for a few days, or I got to be gone for a week or whatever. So walk us through what you do for your clients.
I do anything. So I'm not just your travel agent. I'm your travel advisor. There's other travel agents you call and they charge you a fee to research your trip or whatever. Even though you could tell them everything you want. They might still charge you $25, $30, even sometimes higher, to just regurgitate the same information that you told them, but in a format that will be easy for you to follow and, alleviate that chaos and headache. I take it a step farther. I probably give you more information that you want, but I want you guys to, whoever calls me and wants to utilize my services, I want them to have the best possible experience that they can possibly have. I try to dive in and take everything off their plate. So I'm not just a travel agent. I'm a travel advisor. If you're looking to book a Disney trip, I will tell you everything that there is possibly to do at the resort, advise you the different options between the hopper pass or the multi-day pass, whether or not you just want to go to one park, if you want to go to both, if you want to go back in between, because those are restrictions there, and a lot of people don't know that. And then, whether or not you want to stay on the resort, or if you want to stay at one of their partner hotels, or if you don't even want to stay at their partner hotels, there's cheaper options to do it. It just depends on how you want to do it and how big your family is and what your budget is. I try to take all that into account, and I'll give you 3 or 4 different options. Like, if you want the cheapest option, here's this. If you want a media of the road one, if you want the most all-inclusive experience that you can possibly have,
luxury experience,
here's it is, and here's what's out there.
Right.
Tell me what you want, and we can piecemeal it together. A lot of people don't do that. They'll just give you, here's option A, here's option B. It's either or.
Right.
So, and then I just had a client that wanted to go on a Carnival cruise, and they were having a hard time trying to book it themselves, trying to get their schedules together and everything that had to go. And they called me up for services. They said, this is the one we want to do. We booked it, and Carnival has a strict no cancellation, no refund, no transfer of your deposit. So they booked it, they paid their deposit, and then we couldn't get it switched. I tried, they tried, I tried again, got nowhere. And then I just became their advocate. As a travel advisor, I send several people a year to Carnival. I work with a host agency, and we send millions of people through Carnival Cruise Lines. My host agency did $550 million in travel sales last year alone. Yeah. So when I call Carnival Cruise Line and be like, hey, this is what's going on, they're more apt to listen to me than like if you called.
Right.
And said,
if I'm just, hey, this is just me. I got one cruise that I'm doing.
You've gone on one cruise in the last 10 years.
Right.
You're going to be like, eh. But when it comes to a host agency with some backing behind it, and, money speaks, especially to big businesses like that. Long story short, I became their advocate and was able to book them a different cruise, get them their refund, get them their deposit transferred to the new cruise, and they were not out the $450. They would have been out if they didn't have me in their back pockets. I'm not just a travel agent. I'm an advisor and an advocate. So if something goes wrong, we've all seen what's going on in Mexico. Luckily, I only had one client that was somewhat adversely affected with that, and I was able to circumvent any issues before they went down there. But I have other travel agents that I'm friends with that had clients that were kind of stuck in that, and they had to jump in and be their advocate to get them out of that situation or cancel it or get them their refund. Definitely, if you're going on a big trip like that, I recommend travel insurance. It's huge. It's not just something that is extra to pay.
Yeah, because that's one of those things where if you're booking yourself, it's one of those last questions when you do it. A lot of times it's very easy to just, I don't need to spend that extra on that. I'll just.
But there's different companies and different policies. You want to make sure you get the right one, and having a travel advisor to sell you the right one or point you in the direction to the right one so that you don't end up holding the bag even more is valuable.
Right. So with the travel insurance, what are some of the, I guess, allowable things that if you do need to cancel, what are some reasons they'll take into account to be able to get your money back? Or is it anything? You just can't go and get your money back?
Some of them are anything. Yeah. And those are the ones that I present to my clients, but there's
Mhm.
other ones that are strict that it has to be either a death in the family, a severe illness to any one of the travel parties.
Mm.
And then even then, not everybody that's on the travel party will get reimbursed. It's only the person experiencing the issue. So there's like anything else, there's multiple different companies doing the exact same thing. It's just depending on which one you choose, whether or not they're going to be what their acceptable reasons for canceling are. They're not all the same.
Sure. Okay. Are most of your clients are that you're advising, is it more for international or domestic travel?
A little bit of both.
Yeah.
So obviously cruises are pretty much international. You get on a boat and you go and you hit different cruise ports, but I do book international travel too. I mean, I can do anything. I'm certified. I've been trying to niche down to being a cruise specialist more than anything, just because it's I want to say it's easier, but it's just that it's more prevalent. Everybody loves cruising. Even if you haven't been on a cruise before and you go on your first one, it seems like everybody falls in love with it.
Sure.
So I'm trying to niche down to that, but I am certified with over 130 different vendors. It doesn't matter if you want to go on an African safari, if you want to go to Disney, if you want to go on a cruise, I can help you out.
Okay. What's your personal favorite place to travel to?
So far, it's been Aruba.
Okay.
I mean, I thought Aruba was this tropical paradise, and it is if you're on the coastline, but Aruba pretty much is a desert. And I did not know that until I was there.
Didn't know that.
And the people are extremely friendly. It's not a hot, humid place. It's a dry desert area, and the water is just absolutely phenomenally gorgeous. Like, you talk about turquoise blue, pristine water, and I don't know, it just hit different down there.
Yeah.
It was definitely blue. It was definitely turquoise, but when you got in it, it just felt like everything in the stress in your body just went away.
Just melted away.
And then the sunsets when I was there for the 3 days, it was a magical place.
Awesome. No, I've heard of the water and everything, but I've never heard that it's basically a desert out of the outside of the coastline. I didn't know that.
Yeah, and the only the only green grass in any of the properties were people that were from the Western United States,
Yeah.
the Western Hemisphere. But other than that, it's a barren desert.
Huh. Wow. Okay.
But yeah, Aruba, hands down so far. And Colombia was probably my second favorite so far. I mean, I've been to Rome. Rome was nice.
Yeah.
I don't dislike any place that I visited, but if I had my hands down favorite so far, Aruba.
Okay. All right. Might have to put that on my list then, because I've never been there. And quite frankly, you're just talking about cruises. I have never been on a cruise. I
Right.
travel a ton, but I've never done a cruise.
You should check it out.
So I'll talk to you about that. Tips and tricks, anything people should know about maybe cruises specifically, anything they should be looking at?
If you think you know it, you probably don't, unless you are a full-time cruiser. And even people that go on cruises all the time, there's little tips and tricks all over the place that people don't know, whether it's all inclusive or if it's not all inclusive. And then how to pack. Like when I went on our first cruise, I definitely overpacked. You don't have to pack as much stuff as you think you
Don't
do.
need that much stuff on.
No, I mean, the rooms are tiny unless you get a suite.
Right.
There's a lot of different packing trips. And my TikTok channel is I'm going to start, throwing out some more tips and tricks on traveling and how to pack and things to avoid and things to look for and things to do. So
That'd be cool. Yeah, that'd be a good way to help people out, but also market your services like that.
Yeah.
Very cool. So walk us through, somebody gets a hold of you and they're wanting to travel somewhere. Take us through the process from, hey, I call Andrew, say, hey, I'm thinking about going here. What's next?
yeah, so I have like a 10 phase questionnaire that I usually ask people to qualify them to see if they're genuine a client or if they're just kicking the tires. And if they're just kind of kicking the tires, I give them the generic, hey, this is what you kind of do. If they call back, then we'll go through the questionnaire. But a lot of people call to kick the tires. And I found out early on that if I give people too much information, they'll just go and book it themselves. But then they don't have their advocate. And then they end up calling me back anyway and be like, hey, we did this wrong. I was like,
Right.
There's not a whole lot I can do now since you've already
Mhm.
booked and paid for it. Once you've booked and paid for it, I can't usually step in and help you out.
Right.
So, I mean, I guess that's a pretty big tip right there.
Mm-hmm.
If you're thinking about using a travel agent, use a travel agent. If you're going to book it on yourselves, book it on your own. But even with a cruise, the price that you're going to pay, like if you go on their website and you see the cruise that you want to go, the price you're going to pay is the same price you're going to pay through me,
Right.
unless the travel agent you're looking at charges a booking fee or a research fee. The price is going to be the same.
And I think that's a misconception among a lot of people is they think that it's going to be a lot more expensive or something if I go through
it
an agent
doesn't
or advisor or something.
it doesn't cost you anything more to book through me than it does to book on your own. There's a commission built into it, whether or not the company you're booking the trip through rolls that back into their top line, or if you're giving it to a small business or a small business owner or an independent travel agent. That commission's built in, whether it's Priceline, Booking.com, you name it. It's all out there. There's a built-in commission. It depends on if the company rolls it back into their top line or if somebody actually earns that commission and becomes your advocate.
Right.
To point you in the right direction and make sure there's no hiccups or hangups.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think we've talked before. I'm the president of Local First Springfield back here. So when we're talking about doing business locally with local people, it could be better for, a local business like yours to get that commission rather than Priceline or Expedia, right?
Yeah.
I mean, let's just keep the money right here at home. So.
Yeah. So somebody calls, we go through that questionnaire, we qualify them as a client, and we start planning.
Okay. Where would you say you send most of your clients to? Or are they mostly cruises? I know you're trying to niche down into cruises, but are most of them calling you for cruises?
I've sold a lot of cruises. My car is wrapped in Sandals and Beaches attire, and it's co-branded. And a lot of that is because I sold quite a few trips to them. They're like, well, hey, since, this is all working out for you, why don't we just kind of help you out a little bit? So it's co-branded, and having my car wrapped like that and driving around town, it generates interest in business. And I'll go through a drive-through or something and be like, oh, I need to be there. I'm like, yeah, exactly. Escape the chaos. I just throw that tagline at them and give them a business card, and we start having a conversation about travel. So I would say it's a fair mix between all-inclusive resorts and cruises.
Okay.
At this point.
So Sandals and Beaches, for those that don't know the difference between the two, Sandals versus Beaches.
It's the same company. It just depends on if you're looking for more of a beach oceanfront resort, or they both have beach oceanfront resorts, but it's just co-branded. Sandals is a little bit more upscale, refined, kind of higher end budget kind of excursion, all inclusive. And Beaches is more of a family friendly, come and go, enjoy the all inclusives and stuff like that.
Is Sandals adults only right now, or is it family?
A little bit of both.
Gotcha. There's some of them that are still adult only, but okay. Gotcha. It's been a little bit since I've been on an all-inclusive in Mexico. My wife and I used to do them quite often, but since we had kids, we haven't gone down to do very many of them. We've, done Mexico and Dominican Republic and all that fun stuff. But
yeah, it's pretty much resort specific, whether or not it's going to be adult only or if it's going to be family friendly.
Yeah, that's next on our list. We want to get the girls to like an all-inclusive place, whether that's Mexico or wherever. So, or maybe we'll just go to Aruba, like you said. Just call you up and we'll go to Aruba or something.
I don't know if they have any all-inclusives there right now, but
that's all right. I'm fine with not all-inclusive.
I'm definitely going to have to look into that because I want to go back to Aruba.
Yeah. No, we haven't taken our girls out of the country yet. So we've done a lot of places within the U.S., of course, but we haven't taken them outside the U.S. So that'll be the next thing, I guess. So how long have you had the company now? How many years in are we?
2 years.
2 years. All right. So
I had my 2-year anniversary 3 weeks ago. So
similar question to your law enforcement and firefighting career. What are you most proud of over these first couple of years?
Travel, experiencing new cultures, new environments, new ways of life. I mean, everybody says America is the greatest country in the world, but man, some of the way people live in some of these other countries, like in Rome, in Italy, in Colombia, in Panama, it's just so magical. Mm-hmm. It's just maybe the way our economy is and the way our political system is, maybe we are the greatest country in the world, but there are so many magical moments in these other countries that's like, if we had this back home, things could be 100% better. Just experiencing the different cultures and things that I never would have imagined existed. I'm allowed to see now by getting out of my comfort zone, getting out of my element and seeing things in their natural setting. It's magical.
Well, I think that's what's so important about travel. That's why, that's one of the reasons why we've traveled with our girls so much when they're young, because it opens your eyes to other things. It broadens your horizons, gets you out of the environment here where we don't see the big picture of everything.
Right.
I think it really does open your eyes, gives you more ideas to bring back to your community and the whole thing.
And that's kind of what I focus my bookings on, and what I try to emphasize to my clients is, if you want to go for just the food and the entertainment, go for the food and the entertainment. If you want to experience the culture and experience the country or the city or wherever you're going, if you want to experience it, there's these other options to do that, whether it's a food tour, whether it's a cultural tour, whether it's an architectural tour. I will give you those options so you can immerse yourself into the area and you can experience the culture.
And I think those things are super cool. Those, like the cultural tours and getting immersed into that. I know when we were staying at the all-inclusive resorts, we always tried to do some of the cultural stuff, get out into the country a little bit and see what it's really like outside of just the nice all-inclusive resort.
Just make sure you do it in a safe spot.
Correct. Correct. Yes, definitely. Anything around that, just make sure you go to the reputable places, I guess, or talk to you and make sure you get it right.
Reputable places, and make sure you're going through a reputable company, whether if it's an airport transfer, if it's a transfer from a resort to like a scuba diving trip. And like you said, Mexico, there's a lot of places in Mexico. Like if you go to a Riviera or Playa del Carmen and you want to transfer or travel to a beach excursion or to the Mayan ruins, sometimes you have to book that through the resort. Or if you call independently, like an Uber, they don't have Ubers in Mexico per se, but they have a different travel sites. Just make sure you're using a reputable company that's recommended either by the resort or a travel advisor that you know has some backing and has some safety concerns built in. Mexico is one of those places that you don't want to just book something on a whim and hope it's the right one, because you don't know who you're getting or where you're going, or if we've all seen what's going on in Mexico right now, and it's a tragedy, but you definitely don't want to get in one of those cars because you might not know where you're going to end up.
Right. Yeah, no, we always book through the resort. And back when we were doing them, I think we used Apple Vacations a number of times. I know that was one. But yeah, no, we're going to have to start going through you and figure out what we can do to get ourselves to Aruba.
Apple Vacations is one of my vendors.
Oh, okay. All right.
You'll pay the same price. Sometimes I can unlock discounts and benefits for you that you might not be able to get on your own. But
okay. Yeah, there was a couple of times we did, I don't know if they still do it, where they do the Apple deal where you're like, well, you can get a mystery resort, 5 golden apple. I don't know if they still even do that type of stuff. But okay. So like 5 golden apple resort, you just don't know what you're going to get until the last minute, but you get a deal on it. We did that a couple of times and it all turned out nice.
Yeah.
So always got a cool one.
They're not going to put you anywhere bad.
No.
Because then it looks bad on them.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. Well, let's flip over to the personal side. We've already talked a little bit about faith and spirituality and your journey, but anything else you do personally to elevate your life?
Right now, and what is focusing and just putting different spin on my entire life is daily devotionals. I'm waking up in the morning, I'm doing my daily prayers, reading the Bible. I do the Wise Guys Bible study on Wednesday nights through Westside Church. And we got into this 365-day Bible reading plan, diving into the Bible and reading it, actually reading it for the first time in my life is changing everything. Like when I used to read the Bible, if I read anything in the Bible, I didn't find its relevancy. But everything that I've been through, the spiritual journey, and now looking at it, it doesn't matter when it was written. It feels like it was written for me, or there's something I can pull out of it that I can turn in and base on my life. Like, this is why these words were written, and this is why these words are so important. Even if you don't think it is an important story in the Bible, there's a purpose for it. There's a reason it's still in there. And that has changed my outlook every day, to start my day with my daily devotional, read the Bible, and then just sit in meditation and pray on it. And then, do my AA meetings and go to an AA readings, and then go to an AA meeting, and then stay with my new brothers in faith and check in with them and people in AA. And it's just starting my day like that resets everything. And every day is a new day.
Love it. Any trips planned?
Not right now.
Not right now?
Got a few things going to Chicago, going to Wrigley Field in a couple of weeks to just check out some of the local sites. And I've only been back in Springfield now for about 8 months, and I'm revisiting the Lincoln sites and making a lot of travel content with that. I don't have anything super huge planned right now. I'm looking at Hawaii for my travel conference. It's a big annual conference that we do with travel agents. If I can get in on that, I think it's sold out right now, but they have a waiting list. If I can get in on that, then that's what I have on the radar.
Awesome. Now the Lincoln sites around here, I think there's so many people in Springfield that have lived here forever and have never really, gone to the Lincoln sites a lot.
It's like something you take for granted. It's in your backyard.
Yeah, it's right here, so you take it for granted. You never go, but go do it. That's when we first moved over here. Because I'm originally from Decatur. First moved over here, that's what we did with our girls, and now I still do it every now and again. Hey, let's go check out the Lincoln sites. At some point, they're like, we've been there like 12 times now, but no, it's great. Check it out.
Yeah.
Check it out. So, well, Andrew, so much great stuff today. Let's let's give the audience a couple of things before we close out here. Let's give them a piece of advice, one on the personal side, one on the professional side, to help them elevate their life or business.
Personal side, get out of your own way. Trust God. That was huge for me. Once I did that, everything kind of started changing, and I'm strapped in for the ride. I'm excited for it. I don't know where it's going to take me. Where it's taken me so far is just beyond belief where I thought I would be 4 years ago, and just trust God.
And professionally?
Professionally, get out of your comfort zone, meet new people, experience. You told me about Local First Springfield and networking, running a small business. If you don't have that personal and professional network, you're not going to go too far. And engaging with new people and just having conversations like we're having right now are huge for business.
And is there anything we can do community-wide to help all of us here elevate Springfield and the surrounding communities?
I would say get out, volunteer, support local small businesses, and reach out, ask if anybody needs anything, and just be there for your neighbor.
There you go. Absolutely. And if you're out there wanting to help out, Refuge Ranch might be a place to start. Good place there.
Yeah, I'm gonna start doing that.
There you go.
They're in need for male mentors based on the conversation that I had with them, and again, that is just their mission is just absolutely amazing, and I want to be a part of it.
No doubt about it. Well, Andrew, remind everybody where they can go find more about you and First Response Travel.
www.firstresponsetravel.com is my website. I have links to all my socials on there, and look forward to seeing my followers grow and having conversations with people.
There you go. Check out them tips and tricks on TikTok coming up.
They're coming.
There you go.
Again, I have to get out of my comfort zone and start making them.
Yeah, I'll help you out with that. We can have some fun with that. I love the social side. I love getting stuff out there. So maybe we can collaborate on that a little bit.
Yeah.
So, well, Andrew, appreciate you spending some time with me today, brother.
Absolutely.
So
thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Well, we're going to let Andrew get back to elevating Springfield. But for the rest of y'all, we'll be right back.
Looking for expert tree care with hometown integrity? Look no further than Sangamon Tree Service. They're your trusted local pros, delivering quality workmanship, exceptional customer service, and fair, honest pricing every time. Whether it's trimming, removal, or storm cleanup, their team brings professionalism and care to every job, big or small. Call the name your neighbors trust, Sangamon Tree Service, or visit them today at sangamontreeservice.com. Sangamon Tree Service, rooted in quality, built on trust.
When I first walked into Shudokan Karate Club, I was just looking for a way to get stronger, but what I found was so much more. Here we train in traditional karate, the real stuff, passed down through generations. Every punch, every kata has purpose. I've learned self-discipline, confidence, and how to protect myself. Not just in class, but in real life. It's not about being aggressive, it's about being prepared. This is more than a club, it's a way of life. Join us at Shudokan, traditional, powerful, real. Ki-ai!
Well, thank you for joining us today, everybody. Appreciate you making us a part of your day. Hey, don't forget, while you're out on social, check ours out. You can check my personal one out at Robert Farrell at everywhere. Check out those Elevate Springfield pages, those Big Dog Business Coaching pages as well. Check us out over on YouTube. Give us a subscribe, give us a like or a follow on any of those channels. We would certainly appreciate it. So, hey, take what you learned today. You bring the discipline and follow through, and together, that's right, y'all, we're going to elevate Springfield. Be great. Looking for personalized insurance with hometown care? David Hilst, American Family Insurance Agents, here to help you protect what matters most: your family, your home, and your dreams. Whether it's auto, home, life, business, David and his team are proud to serve the Springfield community with trusted advice and reliable coverage. Local service, real relationships, peace of mind. Call today or stop by their office. They can build your dream protection plan together. Call 217-726-6343